Right, so let's we're 6 in for more fuel again. That's all we do with these things, is fuel them up. You only get about 10 miles per gallon at best. I might even go down to as low as 6 miles per gallon, just depending on if you're in the town and that, doing a lot of stop starting and pickups and waiting at traffic lights. Might even drop below that as well. But you'll probably get about 10 miles per gallon at best. Not much more than that. I mean, you've got a lot of wind resistance on a double decker, plus the weight and all the rest of it, rolling resistance with tyres, etc. Most of it's like the weight, the shape of it, it's not aerodynamic. But we're going to get this filled up and then get to Dundee Transport Museum. So they'll be up the stairs, disco and me their stereo. I'll be driving as usual. So I won't be able to film anything of it driving because you're upstairs and I don't want to get a copyright strike for any music, because I play music up there, and unfortunately that would come through on YouTube as a copyright strike, so I'm not able to do that. We can only film when music's off. Anyways, right, I'll better get chatting just now. I'll keep you posted. Shell filling station at Forfar, en route to the Dundee Transport Museum. And the Dundee Transport Museum is at the Market Mews, just off the Broughty Ferry Road in Dundee. And that's where we're headed. Right, so that's us. I've got the bus here now at the Dundee Transport Museum. So I picked up some other people as well that are wanting to go into the museum also. This is just going in to see if we're taking the bus into the museum. At the moment we're just parked outside the museum because it is a bit tight, so we've got to know just what the story is like. So I'll turn the camera around, I'll get some videos around and inside the museum as well if I can. Keep you posted. So the Dundee Transport Museum is situated between Dock Street, East Dock Street, which is down that way, and Broughty Ferry Road. And this is Market Street, Market Mews, and this Market Street runs between these two roads, and it's well signposted. The museum is right in at just right at the back there and on the left. So it's well worth a visit. Like the Dundee Transport Museum, it's well worth a visit if you're interested in motor museums. So I'm just going to wait to see what's happening there. Right, I'll keep you posted. Right, so that's just got the bus in. I had to reverse it up the road, drive it in forward, drive it up there, reverse round, get it in there, keep enough room for people to get in it. Get a bus in there. Anyway, that's it in, and outside the transport, right outside the Transport Museum. Literally, because you come in from that gate there, and there's just a stone throw up, and that's it right there. So I'll show you inside as well and around the boat. Right, so that's just inside the museum. There's quite a lot of a collection here. It's the old J Bang car. On the Civic, I think. Not sure, I'll show you anyway. Oh, you get me, Joe, in there? It's an old Mark III Granada. My mate used to have one like that. His was dark blue, 2.9. No, actually, his was a 2.4 injection, and he got it converted and fitted the 2.9 engine in it. It's the same engine bore and block. I think it was just the stroke that was different. It made up the extra cubic capacities. So it went from 2.4 injection to 2.8 injection. And it was like this dark blue. It's a D-Reg. Mark III Ford. Mark III Ford Granada. The Mark 1 and Mark 2 were boxier. Well, the Mark 1 was a bit more curved, and the Mark 2 was really boxy-like. It's like the Mark 4 Catena, Mark 5 Catena. It looked like a bigger version of that. But that's sort of got a similarity to the Ford Sierra. So, I'll show you. Oops. Oh, here I'm bumping into the information board. Oh, this is a 2 litre L. So I think that's a Pinto engine in this one. That's maybe just reflecting, not getting reflections. So yeah, that's I think this one is the 2 litre Pinto engine. I think everything above that was the V8, well V6, sorry, 2.4 and the 2.8, and there was a 2.9 I think, and they were V6s, Ford V6s, sorry Kian. So yeah, that's certainly nice looking car. It's sort of in the era of the times, you know, that I grew up in. My mate had, as you say, that was his, I think it was his third car, fourth car or something. My very first car was a Ford Escort Mark III. I'll show you more. So there's a fine selection of vehicles here. It's not just cars, there's also bikes as well. This is the Fiat Uno, I remember this. There's another 91 Yoga van. This is smart, wouldn't this? Toyota MR2, Mark II. Nice, eh? So the museum's also got, it's home to one of the Dundee Corporation's old Daimler CVD6. The CVD6s, it's a back loader, used to be fleet numbered 184. I actually done a video about that on my channel. It's 65th birthday or something. 55th birthday. It's on my channel anyway. But I'll show you this. I'll show you again today. So there's the owner of bus 6, wee Joe. It's a big bus parked outside. Yourself here. You enjoying it here, eh? Say hello to my viewers. Probably one of my favourites, the Granada and the MR2. So this is one of the old backloaders, 127. That's the AEC, I think. I'll check. That's the Daimler CVD6 184.
The trams used to be packed in like gutters. You had people standing and hanging up from it, having to collect the fares with them like that. The ships were terrible. We went with it.
I am Rocky born and bred and used the local trams regularly. The trams and all the other routes. The adult mustard seat was made for a very comfortable ride. During the war, the conductors were replaced with
It's a Daimler CVG6, beg your pardon.
being small and stature, and she wore her hair piled high, just like a film star. Anyway, I encountered an incident. My purse was stolen at a market, and the police advised me to go to the Bell Street police station and look over.
That must have been a chore driving this around, lighting this around. I think I'll just stick to the diesel automatic double deckers. It'll be a little bit cold in the winter. It'll be hard work having to operate that thing. I like the lights though. you can see the amount of craftsmanship that goes into these older buses. It's all done like, you know, woodwork and coach building basically. Whereas the modern buses, a lot of them now they use an awful lot of glass reinforced plastic mouldings and stuff like that. So all this would be like one moulded piece. It makes it easier to produce, quicker and easier to clean and maintain. Whereas the actual old style coach building work would have took ages, you know, a lot of joinery skills and stuff like that. I'm not saying there isn't any skills in the new buses, obviously there are, but it's a totally different technique now. Modern buses are built, as I say, a lot of this injected moulding and stuff like that, and glass reinforced plastic, pressure moulding and all that kind of stuff. Technology basically speeds up the production, easier to replace parts as well. Whereas the old ones use old school lights and everything, really nice pattern on it. And you know, you can see the coach work, you can see the screws and all the bits and pieces and bolts and rivets. Whereas the modern ones are flush. It's all, they use adhesives and various like seam wells and adhesives, and they hide things to be the filler and one piece mouldings and everything. It hides all the fixtures on the modern buses. Whereas on the old ancient buses, you get you see the fixtures, the strapping, the beading, and all the rest of it. But yeah, there's more character to the old buses, obviously. The leather seats, I think these are actual leather seats as opposed to vinyl. The modern buses tend to use a lot of polyurethane or something and fabric. It's like sort of synthetic chemicals, materials, modern stuff like that, easy to produce and cheaper, I think. Well, maybe not cheaper, not if you had to replace it, but more quicker to make and manufacture. Whereas this is more like probably got stitching and stuff in it, you know, hand craftsmanship. I mean, a lot of the jobs and trades and skills would have went in, you know, the craftsmanship going into making the wooden parts and stuff, you know. Whereas on the mass-produced vehicles, it's like just all done on a production line, you know, much quicker and faster and easier than the old methods. But the only downside is that means is that there are less jobs because you don't need as many skillsmen if machines are doing it all for you. You know, that's the way it's going. That's the way it is. Oh, there's some old fares there. Come on, I'll show you this. Unfortunately, it seems to be reflecting an awful lot off this plastic, so it's not really coming out very clear. Damn it, I was hoping to get that. No. Sorry. Try to get that there for you, but this is the way the lights reflect off this perspex. I can't really get it to zoom in, but I'm going to have to get going anyway. I have to move around here. I was just showing you a wee bit inside this bus 127, which is an AEC, I believe. I'll just check. Yeah, as you are, it's CVD6. I got them mixed up. CVG6 and CVD6. So it's a Daimler. It's a Daimler manufacturer, not an AEC like I thought. I'm not as genned up on these old, really old, ancient buses as I am the buses that I grew up with. Because I could remember Dundee having old backloader buses, very, very, very vaguely. I mean, it'd be late 70s, but I think I would have been 4 or 5. So at night. No, I can't remember when the last backloaders run in Dundee, but I mean, must have been late 70s. I would have been very young, like, but I think I remember them. I definitely remember the Fleetliners. That's the buses with the engines at the back under a bustle. There isn't any here in this museum to display at the moment, but the backloaders are not quite as genned up on them anyway. And sure, I do remember them though. Very, very vaguely on the Fintry 32 service. There wouldn't have been many left at that time in the late 70s, but because they were all gradually getting replaced with the Volvo Ilse. That's the bus I'm familiar with. Well, the Tayside ones are very, very familiar with the Volvo Ilse buses. There aren't any here at the moment on display, but you'll have seen it on. If you go back on my YouTube video, type in the video that I made a real good few while ago. It's called Dundee Buses in the 1980s. It's near the start of my channel. It wasn't long after I started doing YouTube, and I put the video up, Dundee Buses in the 1980s, and there's lots of examples of Volvo Elsa's in there. In fact, I done a 3-part documentary about the Volvo Elsa just last year, maybe a while ago. That's also on my channel, and I'll go into a lot more in depth on it about the Volvo Elsa. So if you want to have a look on that, just look back at the channel. It's titled Volvo Elsa. There's 3 parts there. But anyway, that's fleet number 127. So just making me up to the exhibition hall 3.
System is the buses, so it's communicating with all the lights, and it's showing me that
I should I'd trust them though. I think I'd rather be driving myself. Yeah, what was it? It's the autonomous, automatic autonomous car, a Range Rover. I'm not sure I'd be comfortable being around anything like that. I mean, look at the size of it. Eh? It's a big Range Rover, for goodness sake. That driving on its own, really? Do you feel safe yet? I wouldn't like to be on the receiving end of that. God, I'd rather be a driver in there. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be quite so comfortable. I mean, then again, I don't really know. I've never experienced such thing. I don't know about being inside it as a passenger. I mean, what's to say it wouldn't just go right over a cliff? If I had to make a scenario, right, human beings can make it. But can a computer make the same decisions as a human can? So if I had a choice of either going over a cliff or mowing down something else, you know, like, it's decisions, you know, we can make split second decisions through feelings and emotions. They could either work either way by fate, but that's how we make decisions, kind of like not logical, like binary. Binary is like just ones and zeros, artificial. So we make decisions that we based off our feelings and emotions, and that's how we decide things and make decision making. The computer, it's just calculations, ones and zeros, noughts and ones, binary. No, it doesn't have this. It won't have any feelings. I can't make decisions on feelings. It's working off of calculations and programming. So that's the thing. There's scenarios that we could make up and make a decision about using our human feelings and thoughts towards it, thought pattern. But these computers don't think, they're just programs. So it'll just mow you down and without any thought or feeling at all. It'll run right over, it'll go off the edge of a cliff. I wouldn't even attempt to reflex reaction to touch the brakes like what we humans would do. It would just go right, I wouldn't know any different. That's the thing, it's artificial. I'm not sure if I would be so comfortable I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you. I didn't see this before. It's the first time I saw this. I was here about a year ago or something, a few months ago. It wasn't there then. But that seems to be what they're interested in putting out there. So I don't know what your views are on it. Everybody's got their own view on everything. So, I mean, if you designed it and put faith in it, that'll work, then you would see it and view it differently, obviously, if you're going to be responsible for programming it and sanctioning it and putting it out there on the road. And then you'll have a different point of view on it. Whereas I don't know enough about it. I just have my own gut instincts, and I think that something artificial just will not have anything whatsoever in the way of a human thought pattern. This is based on calculations of things are known to go wrong from time to time. Like computers crash, I mean literally crash as well, by the way. I mean literally crash in this case, but the programs crash, glitch and all sorts of things. You know, and something like this getting out of control, I mean honestly, think about it. I mean, it's going to be about 2.5 ton. So if that goes out of control, it's just going to decimate anything it hits, you know. That's it, I don't know, I don't know enough about it, but it's interesting. I'm interested to learn how things work. That I am interested in. Yeah, I would like to, I presume all these are sensors and eyes and ears. Yeah? There'll be actuators. I mean, cars nowadays, the modern cars nowadays have got, they're not far off autonomous than you might think. You've got anti-lock brakes, which controls the brake pedal. You've got self-steering or lane assist, which controls the steering. You've got anti-lock brakes, which controls the brakes. You've got an automatic, you wouldn't need a transmission in an electric car, but you've got cruise control, you've got adaptive cruise control. So that's kind of like autonomous in that sense. It's getting closer than you might realise. All that you need to replace is the driver. You know, it's capable. Modern cars are capable of driving themselves more than you might think, because it's got the actuators and sensors to do so. But it's the actual thinking, the computer, not the human. It's the computer, then it'll decide where and when and how fast and where it's going to go. It's able to do it mechanically, physically, but it's the thought process that's the interesting part. But anyway, it's just. This is electric cars as well, 1967. So electric cars have been around a lot longer than you might think. I mean, obviously recently now electric is making a big comeback. It's all modern now, is it? It's all high tech. You got all this electronics and everything. But when you look at this old thing here, that's electric, 1967. And even if you go way back as far as the early 1900s, well, the start of the Industrial Revolution, like 1900 and whatever, 3 or there's electric cars around about at that time also, but the petrol or the oil combustible engines took over from that. It overlapped it just overtook it, left them by a long shot, but now the electric are making a comeback. A good old internal combustion engine like this old Jaguar engine, straight 6-cylinder petrol, automatic transmission. I'll show you it. See, I love this because it gives you a much clearer idea of what's going on inside the engine. Jaguar 4 litre. So it shows fuel pumps about, oh god, fuel pump will be there somewhere. It's all mechanical anyway. It's air conditioning, compressor maybe, I don't know. I'm not quite sure, not really. This is an automatic transmission. That's the clutch packs, planetary gears are buried within there. There would be a torque converter on the front there. That's like your automatic clutch. So basically you won't be able to stall it, it just slips. It's fluid coupling. But it multiplies the torque, so I can not get into it, but it's a number of turns, it reduces the number of turns, comes out here more torque. The torque converter basically increases, multiplies torque through the hydraulic method. I'm not even going to, right now I'm not explaining it. I'm just kind of briefly going through this. I'm not an engineer or anything like that, I just learn this stuff on my own time, like just by reading and watching stuff on YouTube and that. You know, I love learning about these things, eh? That's the old combustion engine anyway, Jaguar 4 litre. There's a bit through there, I'll show you that as well.
The choices I was making for the second team around the world were all about speed. How do I make this money go faster? So this time it wasn't really about the adventure off the back. It was very much just making miles. 2-3 hours just making that. For the straight roads. Starting from the cockpit, the front end, most of the time I spent on the skimmers, on the tri-bars, stretched out. It's super cool to be riding and doing the flats, still the draws,
Impressive, eh? It's old Volvo getting restored, and then they've got all collection of motorbikes here as well. I like the old Esso sign, I'll show you that. I remember the smell of four-star petrol in the 80s on a hot summer's day, and an old car, like, you know, the vinyl seats, the smell of the petrol and the vinyl on a hot summer day. The seats were burning hot and you could smell the petrol, like, you know, rich petrol. I mean, back in these days there wasn't anything like evaporator cans, charcoal canisters that evaporate the fumes when the engine's off. There wasn't any ventilation recapturing any bypass gases from the engine either, the crankcase ventilation. That was all just venting out in the atmosphere. You know, there was no catalytic converters, there wasn't any, you know, turbo, as many, you know, turbos in modern cars are all set for emissions and AdBlue and all this stuff for diesel cars. There was none of that in the 80s. Well, not in the mass-produced cars, in the majority of cars weren't that. I mean, they might have them, like, concept cars and stuff like, but for the masses, they weren't heard it. You never heard of AdBlue. And catalytic converters were around for a while, they've been around for a while. But unleaded petrol didn't come out till late 80s. But, yeah, I remember that smell of petrol head. It's addictive actually, you could just smell it. It's something, it's mad, petrol. You smell petrol, it's actually poisonous, toxic, you know. Carcinogens, it could cause cancer and all sorts of things. You don't want to smell it, but it's got that addictive kind of smell. It's something about petrol, it stimulates, I don't know. But you know, no, you don't want to do that, like, that's just getting stupid. It's like the old trend that used to have in the 80s and glue sniffers and all that kind of stuff. That was, you saw like glue bugs, people getting high off smelling the, you know, didn't go down that road. It'll kill the cells in your brain as well, you know, and it'll wreck your life, and it'll wreck everybody else's life that knows you as well, so I wouldn't do that, like, I wouldn't advise it, like, yeah, the old smell of petrol, petrol head. No, it's now the saying's volt head or something, because I'm going electric, isn't it? It's all battery power these days. Well, not really, it's still a lot of petrol's going about, but that's what they're aiming at, to get everything electric. So, but it's a great place to come to. I mean, that's the what your petrol pumps will look like. Well, not petrol pumps, but your filling stations are going to have all this sort of DC, AC for your chargers. The thing is, they've got to get electric cars as good as, if not better, than fossil fuel vehicles at the moment. They've got to charge quickly, as quick as it would take to fill up a tank of petrol or diesel. It's got to have the same range at least, if not more, and the cost of running it's got to be appealing. Because at the moment, to buy an electric car and run it, I mean, it might be cheap to run an electric, but you've still got the cost of the battery replacement and stuff as well. It's just the range. You have to get the range sorted out. You've got to get the charge time sorted out, and you have to get more charge points as well. I mean, you can just walk up to anywhere at a petrol station, and if you've got a petrol car, you just drive to the supermarket and get your petrol. But the electric cars have got to have that same flexibility for it to be as good as. It's got to have the same range as a internal combustion engine car, or bus, truck, lorry, whatever. Diesel, petrol, compressed gas, CNG, compressed natural gas, all that. Fossil fuels, basically. But it's the charge times and the availability and the initial cost. And repair bills, all the garages have got to be trained up to fix them as well. So, but, oh, that's pictures, that's the Volvo Elsa there. I'll show you. Yeah, there we go. That's bus fleet number 126, NSP 326R. The fleet number was 126, but the batch of buses were 326, or NSP 326R. But the fleet numbers are 126. It came from a batch of 112 to 141, so it would be NSP 311R to NSP 341R. To the 3 instead of a 1 on the number plate. And we have this bus in our preservation group, and it's in the process of being restored. That's a Daimler Freightliner there. I remember them. I mean, I was very young, but I do remember them. Late 70s, early 80s, but late 70s, 1979 and that. I was only 4, but I do remember them. I remember this top window. I remember the back, but I remember the sound they made as well. Well, they changed the livery to the blue and white the same year I was born, which was 1975. It went from the green corporation livery to the Tayside regional livery. I believe that's right. 1975, because there it is, right in front of my nose. I remember it off the top of my head actually, but there it is. In fact, I'll just get this whole thing on for you, look. My arm's getting sore. Interesting. It says 1972 above the Volvo Elsa. Interesting. I thought it was 1973 November that the first prototype THS 273M was a Mark I Volvo Elsa with Alexander AV type body. But the R Regs didn't come to Dundee until 1976, summer of 1976. There was actually 5 P Regs first of all. It was bus 110 to 107 to 107 to 111. Fleet numbers 107 to 111. Actually, tell a lie, they were actually fleet number 78 to 74 at first, I think. They were given a 2-digit fleet number, 70s, 74 I think. Then they changed the fleet numbers to 107 to 111. They were the registrations were still the same. They were LES 44P to LES 48P, and they were Mark I Volvo Elsas. And then the R-Reg parts came just a couple of months later, 112 to 141. And that was in 1976. But I just don't know, it's maybe just it's got 1972 above there, interesting why it's got that there. But the R-Regs didn't come out till the letter R didn't come out until 1976, the 1st of August 1976. Yeah, I was just speaking to the guy about the dates on that. Yeah, but here's some more pictures of some of the Fleetliners. There's R2 Neg as well. That was Dundee's first low-floor double-decker bus to come into service. It was a trial bus, and that was a demonstrator. It was Optier, it was a DAF DB 250, I think. But I'll show you, I'll turn it around, I'll show you. R2 Neg, it was registered. National Express Group. That's what the NEG stood for. It was an R-Reg 1998. Oh no, sorry, 1997 to 1998 was R. That was the last of the letters for the full year. Then it went to every 6 months. It was S changed and T was 6 months apart. I'll just quickly go through these. That's a later Daimler Fleetliner, that one. That's the earlier Fleetliner with the Alexander body. That's Alexander, but that's the AV, that's the more modern. That's 107, that's the LES 44P. May 1976 it came, but it was originally fleet number 74 or something. 70 something, but they changed it very quickly, shortly after it came into service. That's a later Fleetliner. It's 126 Silver Jubilee livery for the Queen Silver Jubilee livery taken in 1977, I reckon that was. That's L3 Low. First low floor bus to come into service actually in Dundee. So it was a single decker, by the way. Whereas this one was the first low floor double decker to come into service in Dundee. And this one was bought whilst it was still Tayside buses. And I actually had the fortune to have actually driven that in service, because just about 3 or 4 weeks after I'd had my shot at driving it in service, it retired from service, and that was the last of the Tayside buses to be owned by the company at that time, because all the rest were Travel Dundee National Express owned. And that retired, L3 Low retired from service in 2008, it was September 2008, because this started in August 2008. 2008 I started in the buses with Travel Dundee, and that left service about a month later. So I was very lucky to get a shot at driving that one, because that was the last original Tayside bus that was owned and bought by Tayside. I was originally in 1993, it was a demonstrator, but Tayside got it when it was new. I remember the opening day, August 1993. I was originally fleet number 115 as well, but they very quickly changed it to 114 to join the rest of the batch of Scanias, which were fleet number 110 to 113, and they were single deckers, but they were not a low floor, they were the stepped entrance. That was the only low floor one. In fact, it was the very first low floor bus in Scotland, I think, at that time. 1993 August.
Subshed of Dundee Bridge, Montrose held a small study made their receptors for working short distance rates. The camera captures a signal at Montrose South having the single line tilted to the firing of a southbound train. All 582-60818.
So there's this wee sort of model railway room tucked away just at the corner here. It's well worth having a look at if you're ever visiting the Dundee Transport Museum. It's just the corner next to where the old bus 184 is. It's just, we've got the toilets there, and it's just basically opposite the toilets. It's just, you can't miss it. It's tucked in that wee corner there, eh? So, thought I'd maybe just point that out, because it's well worth having a wee look. There's also this other thing, I was here earlier, but I didn't get it. It's this wee area as well.
When the train came near to one that day, Boreas heeded loud and angry rain, shook the central girders of the bridge of Tay. On the last one with all its might, and bonny Dundee soon, thinking they would enjoy themselves on the new year with their friends at home they loved most dear, and wished them all a happy new year. So the train moved slowly along the bridge of Tay until it was about midway. Then the central girders with a crash gave way.
This is about the Tail Rail Bridge disaster.
The storm seemed loudly brave because 90 lives had been taken away on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. As soon as the catastrophe came to be known, the alarm from mouth to mouth was blown, and the cry ran out all over the town. Good heavens, the Tay Bridge is blown down, and the passenger train from Edinburgh, which filled all the people's hearts with sorrow and made them but to turn pale, because none of the passengers were saved to tell the tale, how the disaster happened on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. It must have been an awful sight to witness in the dusky moonlight, while the storm fiend did laugh and angry did bray along the railway bridge of the silvery Tay.
Well, worth a visit as well. It's about the disaster. There's a lot of reading to do in there as well, and there's that film show it's on also. It's horse and carriage. That's wow. So I'm going to make my way, see what's happening. It's 3:20, so we might go across to Arbroath, just see what the rest are saying. Like, we'll get a chip in for diesel because it's driving a big bus all that distance. Like I said earlier, the MPG isn't the greatest on a double-decker bus. You could be down to as low as 6 miles per gallon. Oh, there's John. Oh. All right, John. Oh, it's just some of the other club members have just arrived. Didn't know they were here. So we're going to just discuss what we're going to do next. Oh, the big Michelin one. Jeez. So, I've pretty much covered. Well, I haven't covered everything. There's a heck of a lot to see if you go into detail. I mean, there's thousands of things. I mean, I've just covered the floor space and just showed you, like, briefly what's in general. But if you go into an in-depth study of everything, you could be here for hours. There's a lot to show. There's a lot of things here that's worth looking at, spending time and actually reading. Lots of examples, models and stuff. I do like the old petrol pump. 1950s. I think I like old-fashioned stuff better, actually. I just more character than like. I like the. But yeah, just a little petrol. I better not touch it. My watch wasn't working. But yeah, right. So what I'll do then, I'll keep you posted. And just see what's happening. Okay, I'll keep you posted. Right, so the sun's still shining, still a nice day, and we're going to decide where we're going to go next. Oh, better shoes. That's my new driver. Well, road's all yours. You could do my shift for me and I'll just sit back and put my feet up. You have to shout this driver, he's stone dead. He's stone deaf. Oh dear.
Weather's getting a bit better. I can do evenings for a few hours later. So I'm going to imagine maybe back to that.
He's in my seat. Come on then, driver. He's sitting here at the bar for. You should be in the cab. Driving. It's my seat. His shift's not even started and he's fed up already. Right, so I've got the bus at the Farm Foods at Lochee, where the others are going to do a spot of shopping. Got a big enough vehicle. Everybody's wondering what the heck the bus is doing here. But no, they actually run a community service, like a safety bus that sometimes it sits in there at the weekends. Just big enough for a bus, obviously. I got that tucked in there quite well, actually. So we'll be looking for a coach load of people to do their shopping. It's not a service bus. A lot of people that think that's still in service, it's just unbelievable. That's why we've got to make sure there isn't any destination blinds showing while it's running around in Dundee, because people will think it's still in service. So it's an absolute must. It's a must that will not display any service numbers while it's running around in Dundee in that livery, because for obvious reasons. So they're very clear on that. Like we're not doing that. So obviously people could. What the heck's a bus doing in here? So that's one of my colleagues driving the 10. Tomorrow I'll probably be driving that because I'm back on. Well, a day off a day, but I'm working tomorrow. Oh, hi Joel. There's a bus, short bus for you. Watch the road. Whoa, watch the road, watch the road, watch the road. That's it. Good. Yeah, keep an eye on. I've got to be the little dogs are in the bus as well, so we've got to make sure the door's shut as well. Yeah, he's fascinated in that other bus. You're looking at that bus pulling away there. Hey there on my way. We're running the road. Good boy. young lad. So yeah, oh, there's more. There's a swimming pool in it. You'll see this as well. Stagecoach bus. So we're going to chippy afterwards then. Chip in for the chippy. So just... It's hilarious. With the mobile disco on up there. Everybody's looking up. I wonder what the noise is. It's a double decker, the mobile disco. So that's one of our new electric buses on the 28. Just going away to draw out from the Bank Street bus stop. Kieran the karaoke. Oh no. They can hear him.
You didn't catch that, did you?
Just saw everybody looking wrong when Kieran was on the microphone there. All these cars, people will be just a sudden echo. Anyway. Right, so oh, I got her in there. It's the wee dog. I was just getting the wee dog in because it was out there. But, oh yeah, I can't run by you there, eh? It's a lot of fast wee thing. It's just watching everybody's reaction when they hear that. Oh no, this isn't a good one. So, we're going to now decide, now that they've got the shopping done, it's still a nice day, we might go across the Tay Bridge. We may have to drop some people off first of all, and then we'll get some tea somewhere. Chipper, the 5 feet chipper perhaps, in Worming. Just sitting in the back and watching it, you look at it up the stair, just dancing about the microphone. I've got an audience over there dancing as well with the music. Nah, they're just kids, they obviously hear the music, so they're just sort of wondering what's going on. Not that I blame them, like. Just get that. Right, so we're off to Camperdown Country Park. It's to give the little dogs a wee stretch as well. And it's a nice photo stop also. So we'll show you a wee bit of that area as well when we get there. Nice wee space up there. I'll probably just get parked up there. I'll wait. Maybe park it there. I can park it there. Front of the house and see where the probably just park front of the house. There's a lot of branches over there. Wait straight there. Not straight branches. I've done one of the midnight cruises actually, Camperdown Country Park. Right, so that's just at Camperdown. I've parked at the Camperdown House. Well, that's what I do. That's better, make sure it was off on there. The isolator's still on. Fine. Yeah, so, watch, there's a lot of mud here, eh? Just have to pick a place where there's all the mud, didn't it? Anyway, apart from that, we're here at Camperdown Country Park. It's the old Camperdown house. Been closed for a while, used to be a cafe inside there, various other things. And just round at the other side, it's the golf course, the Camperdown 18-hole golf course. I don't really play golf, but the golf clubhouse is just round the corner there. So, I was saying, they do a flower show here in Camperdown Country Park in September. And they did actually run a bus service into Camperdown Country Park for the flower show. Is that door shut a bit? Just make sure the kids and dogs are in there. That's fine. Yeah, just make sure it doesn't run it. Like, yeah, what I was saying, they run bus service from the city centre up to Camperdown Country Park for the flower show. And that bus is, well, that will have done it at one time as well for sure, but the last time I was on one of them in here, the Gemini, was bus 7, which is its sister bus. And at present that bus is still owned by Xplore Dundee, but it's in storage at the moment. It's mothballed, so it's just a case of waiting and seeing if there's going to be a demand for it or not. It'll probably end up getting sold sooner or later. What are horses? Horses. Must have been horses here earlier. Right, I'll turn it around, I'll show you what's here. When you throw, what do you throw? How do you do that? Very good. Right, so what we've got up on display is the service number that it used to run when it was a Camperdown service. It was a 53 flower festival. I'll show you. So it's up there only, it's only up here just for a few minutes while we're parked. I'm not driving around with it displaying anything. So It's just only up there just for, well, just a photo shop basically. Once you start moving the bus and driving it, I'll blank it up and put nothing like out of service or Tayside Vintage Vehicle Society, something like that. As long as it's not any service numbers. That service number's only up there just for a couple of minutes while we do a photo shop. But it's not. Nobody's going to know that it's on. Nobody's going to be mistaking that for a service bus. It'll be put off as soon as you start moving it. So. A 6 in Camperdown. So like I say, that'll be coming right off as soon as we move. So don't think that that's going to be running around in service. Okay, I'm making that very clear that that's only on when we're stopped here photographing. And that's it, I'll be going off into different... Because if we run around with that on, we get into trouble. You know what I mean? Because people will think that that's a service bus, and of course if we go past stops and everything, and then the company will get, you know, complaints. So we're definitely not running it around with that on service. Just making it clear, right? Right, so I think we're going to make a move shortly, drop some people off and then get some tea, I think. Getting a bit hungry now. So we'll see what's happening. So it's got one of the old routes I used to drive, 15 to Whitfield. I bus saw that often enough, I tell you. Oh, is that us? Is that right? Oh, there's a driver. It's a future driver. Enjoying that, Joe? Getting the horn works anyway. Oh, well, he's driving this to the next place. Got a new driver. I get a chance to get my feet up now. Yes, the horn definitely works. Hello. See the great time in there. A couple of years now. Between that and that disco. That horn and that disco. Oh, God, I forgot about that. He's found it. He's found the button. I do that all the time. Yep, he's learning fast. He knows where the horn is. You've got to do that when you're a driver, bus driver. Right, so I think now we're making tracks. Okay, posted, see where we end up next. Oh, let's finish this and I'll get heading on. Right, so I've hit the first drop off point. Drop someone off. Never look what's on the front. Craig Lang. It's driving about me Craig Lang on the front. That's about the Glasgow comedy, the BBC comedy. It's called Still Game, for those who don't know it. It's hilarious, like for Kieran, actors that are in it, Jack and Victor. So, but anyway, maybe sometime we'll. Oh, hang on a second. I should just get Davey up as well. Yeah, Craig Lang. We'll maybe get that done some point. We'll film. We'll take the bus to some of the filming locations for that Still Game TV series. It was on BBC One. It ran from 2002 to 2007. Ford Kieran, Jack Heffer, I can't remember off the top of my head the actors' names. It won't come to me at the moment. It's just got other things to think about, but it's Still Game anyway, TV series. Craig Lang is Jack and Victor. So somehow Matthew's managed to programme that with a destination like Craig Lang. So it's threatening to be Craig Lang. So stick their arm out one this bus to stop, they'll find themselves in Glasgow. Right, I'm going to have to get going and see what's happening next. Brilliant. Yeah, excellent to see you. On bottom of Bagera Road. There's Greg Hemphill and Ford Kieran and Paul Riley. They were the three main characters. Paul Riley, he played Winston. You've got me right, Slay. I have to yeah, Greg Hemphill, Ford Kieran. Who played Jack. Greg Hemphill played Victor, and Paul Riley played Winston. I think I've got that in the right order. There was an episode with Robbie Coltrane in it, and Robbie Coltrane, he played in the episode Dial Bus, which involved a small bus, minibus like. Well, it was hilarious. He was just sort of, I'll give you a clue, donuts, that's a clue, right? So if you get a chance to watch it, I'd recommend it, like. So, right, I'll see what's happening next. I'll keep you posted, okay? We'll just get this through that. So, right, keep you. What's wrong? Suit. Right, so we've decided now we'll stop. Eventually got to the chipper, well, part at the lay-by just opposite the Fintry Church, Fintry Road, and we're going up to the Steeple chipper, which is a good chipper, and we're going to get some food there. Finally. So, I used to live in Fintry years ago. Well, since I was born, I was 5. I used to stay right at the back at Cheviot Crescent. However, when we moved to the other end of the city at Minas Hill, still used to come to Fintry Mains. My granddad used to stay in that block up there at Fintry Mains. Well, back from, well, it was up to 1986, so this area is very familiar with me in my childhood. And I remember old buses, the 33 that went along this road and the 32 that went up Fintry Drive. So, right, I'm going to get myself in the queue before it gets too busy. This is just what it's got Craig Lang on the front. That was very Heights. So I think people will know that that is not in service. And the 33 service this road. I'll probably be on it tomorrow or something. I haven't really looked at my duty. Don't really want to think about it quite at this moment. So just enjoying my day off at the moment. Busman's holiday day off, that is. Lovely fish and chips. Right, so I've got everybody up to, I've got the bus up at the Jack Martin Way, where we're going to have a seat and get some grub down us. My fish and chips, and absolutely starving. So it's a nice little area, it's right on the edge of the city. So, and then I'll get the bus back to its bed. I'll put Justin Hall. I'll drop everybody off first, and then those that are coming up to Justin Hall will stay with the bus. Right, let me get my tea. I'll keep you posted. Right, so that's just fed and watered. That was delicious, by the way. I'm just waiting on the others finishing theirs. Then we'll drop them off and then get the bus back. Cheviot Crescent, where I used to stay, by the way, is down that way. Doesn't tell you much, but that's where it is. Mid block's demolished. That was demolished in 1995. But there are still some original blocks left in Fintry. It's right on the edge of Fintry, and the Whitfield housing scheme is just right next door to it. That's it over there in the distance. So yeah, this is a nice little area. There's a castle up there as well. There's Powrie Castle, which I'm going to on another day. When I've got the time, I'll go up there and I'll explore that. I might even make a wee video of it as well for you. So, in fact, I'll show you. I've done it. So the castle is up there. Now it's getting a bit dark, so it's not really going to be that great at the moment. Cheviot Crescent's down that way, and these roads here they're just basically running to a dead end. I made a video about that as well earlier on my YouTube channel. It's called The Roads to Nowhere. So if you want to look that back on my channel, then feel free. So Cheviot Crescent is away over there in the distance. It's not really coming out too clear now because it's getting a bit darker. It doesn't really tell you much. Whitfield is just ahead of that. It's further that way. It's east of the Fintry housing scheme. That's all Fintry housing scheme, and Cheviot Crescent is part of Fintry housing scheme. Like I showed you earlier, up in my granddad's stable, he stayed at Fintry Mains. Originally, Cheviot Crescent was called, I think it was Findowry or something, I'm not sure, I can't remember, but or Finn Castle perhaps, I don't know. But it was a Finn something. It was, most of the streets in Fintry were begun with Finn. But Cheviot Crescent and Grampian Gardens, which is the crescent just up from Cheviot Crescent, they were originally called something else. Findowry maybe, or Finn Gard, or Finn Castle, I'm not too sure. But they changed the names anyway to Cheviot Crescent and Grampian Crescent. And you'll notice that all the other streets in Fintry will begin with a Finn. Finn something like Finn... Findowry. I can't think of all the stuff at the top of my head right now, but I'll begin with a Finn anyway, so. I'll wait on the rest finishing. I wolfed mine down. I was starving. I wasn't hanging about. I just got that fish shipper right down me. Delicious. Just wolfed it down. So I'll keep you posted and I'll show you what's happening. We're not doing any more excursions now. We're just basically, that's it, winding the night in now. It's been a successful day. It's been really good weather. It's been great now. It's unusual to actually get a day where the weather holds. It's normally about 10 different seasons in the one day, but today was exceptional. So, this Libby, by the way, that was bus was named. I've got a name put on it, Libby. That was put in while it was in service. It was it was a friend of one of the managers, his daughter's friend or something. And actually, the family of that came up. I believe the granddad and granny or something. One of their relatives, or old relatives, came up yesterday and had a look at the bus. I don't know who they are. I was just briefly told, very quickly told. Who I don't know, but the buses have been named. They've been given names of various people. In fact, one of the members from the bus club has got a key, and he's got a bus named. One of the buses is actually still running in service, a single decker. But they choose names of like some of the famous Dundonian people, and that get the names put on the buses. But Libya is on this one anyway. That's on bus 6, and the relatives to Libya came up yesterday and they really appreciate that bus. They really like it. They came all the way to Justin Hall to see it. I didn't see them. I don't know who they are, but I just got told briefly about that, which was good to hear that. That was good to know that. So I'm appreciating the bus. So yeah, it's looking good sitting there in that background in the sky. The way it's just sort of fading out after a long day. Right, keep you posted. Right, so that's the bus up at Fintry now. For first, another drop off. So we're getting through the day now, getting everybody dropped off. Still got Craig Lag on the front. Via the Klansman, Bobby the barman. that's just about everybody. Well, a lot of people loaded, unloaded. So it's just a couple of us, 3 of us going back up to Justin Hall. The thing with double deckers on the quiet residential streets like this is that obviously the Sunday evening you've got to switched it off, so it's, the engine's not thundering away, waking everybody up. Well, not waking, disturbing everybody. The driving big vehicles, like it's also the same when you go through Camperdown and you're driving a high-sided thing like this. You got to watch for the trees because they lean over the low branches and stuff. It's just wee things like that you pick up. That is great fun, like, yeah. Had a good day. These are really good to drive them. I've driven them in service for many years, well over a decade. You know? But yeah, this is just a wee quiet street, so just showed a bit of sort of consideration and switched off the engine, because that is a loud engine that'll thunder. You know, it'll be, the whole street will hear it. Like, I think the street will know this bus now. So, but yeah, that's the thing. You just gotta watch for like low branches and that coming in and lamp posts and stuff, because these streets weren't built for oh, is that us? Right, no bother. Okay, right, I'll keep you posted. Okay, right, so that's us back at Justin Hall. It's pitch black, but pitch black up there. I don't really see anything at all. So that's just going to isolate the bus, lock it all up, and then I'll drop Reese back home, and then I'll get myself back home. Get tired, it's been a long day. It's good though, I enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as well. So let's just stay tuned, see what else I put up, and so I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, I'll catch you later on. Okay, bye now, bye for now.